Hello and welcome to another episode of the Revenue Focused Marketer, where we discuss anything and everything related to marketing as well as data. I'm your usual host, Hershey, and today we're diving into a really meaningful conversation at the intersection of performance, inclusion, and innovation. Joining me is Abhishek. Abhishek, welcome to the show.
Hi Hershey, thank you so much for the intro. It's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to talking with you today.
Yeah, just a little bit more about Abhishek. He's a software engineer at Microsoft who's impacted a lot of people through his work on performance and accessibility features, specifically in WordWeb. He's been a driving force behind inclusive tools, and he's also passionate about mentoring and helping shape the next generation of tech. So, we're really excited to kind of dive into this conversation with him today. Abhishek, let's start with the big idea.
Mm-hmm.
You've kind of, worked on tools that have really impacted and served many people, making technology more accessible and faster. From that lens,
Mm-hmm.
how do you see AI not as a replacer but as a powerful enabler?
Yeah, sure. So, I can dive a little bit into the kind of accessibility tools that I have worked on. Microsoft's Immersive Reader is a tool
Mm-hmm.
that exists, and it is integrated in various Microsoft's tool as well as it's kind of open source. So, a lot of third-party websites and other sites also have
Mm-hmm.
it as a part of their tools, and it is a incredibly helpful tool for both the people with dyslexia or disabilities as well as young children or people from not so educated backgrounds to easily understand documents and content that's in the website. So
Mm-hmm.
this has been a great source of impact that I've been able to deliver in the front of accessibility and inclusion to people, enabling content to be easily absorbed by people. And in this front, I've seen the newer AI-enabled innovations have been an incredibly powerful tool at scaling this at a larger scale
Mm-hmm.
with Copilot and ChatGPT, these AI tools having the ability to naturally converse in any language, including various local as well as colloquial tongues, has
Uh-huh.
completely changed the scale at which these tools are able to reach. Like earlier, when we started at a very earlier stage, I remember like the very first draft, Immersive Reader was supposed to be for English and a few Latin languages only. And
Mm-hmm.
then, since then, it has increased over various Hindi and other languages also, Indian as well as Philippines and Latin, other like South American languages, etc. However, even in those aspects, it used to be just the most popular languages in those countries or those zones. But with how good LLMs have become today, we are
Mm-hmm.
able to scale this up to almost any local language that a person understands. And I
Yeah.
think that's an incredible, powerful thing that has
No,
happened with
that's
this AI boom.
wonderful. Yeah. And for, as an engineer, what do you wish non technical folks would better understand about how AI actually works? Because a lot of people are, I think not having the right information also makes AI kind of scary. So, what are things that, you wish that they would actually know better about how AI works?
Yeah, so I think if you go into how, let's say, LLMs were built, so they were built by training on existing human out like text as well as things that humans have written or expressed in various modes. So
Mm-hmm.
AIs try to emulate what humans have been generating over the years. So
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people today, when they think of AI, they think it's like some high technology, and like it is a technology, but you don't have to be like daunted or scared about how to adapt
Yeah.
it or how to use it, because AI you can think of as just another companion friend that you have,
Mm-hmm.
and because it is built on human language and human characteristics, you will be able to communicate with it in the same manner as you would communicate with a human.
Mm-hmm.
So I think whenever you're trying to think if you can add an AI, try to think, can a human with like an average skill set be able to do it? If they can do it, then there is some way we can make AI do it as well. So that's kind
Definitely.
of the approach I take when I'm trying to think of how to use AI.
Yeah, and let's kind of dive more into this thinking. How can engineers bake ethical thinking into system design, especially when building with AI? What are your thoughts on that?
AI is like a huge field today that is not totally explored and is being like constantly explored as we are like taking AI more and more into everyday applications. And there are lots of like interesting nuances that has to be kept in mind. Like
Mm-hmm.
for example, the data on which AI has been trained highly determines its biases and tendencies that you see. So it is
Mm-hmm.
extremely important for the like owners or whoever is building these models, like OpenAI in case of ChatGPT or Google for Gemini and all of the other models that are popular or not so much as well. We must make sure that the training set, the like post training that they're doing to fine tune their models are neutral in terms of the tendencies that they're building. And this has been, I think, foremost in these big companies today. However, as
Mm-hmm.
more and more smaller companies are trying to fine tune their models, they need to make sure that they are keeping these in mind and not just fine tuning their model to a specific group of people that can like create bad biases or tendencies here. So that's like one aspect of where I think like ethical things come. But then there is the other aspect where what are you using for your training? And
Mm-hmm.
like the like recently, if I think about the Ghibli image trend that just started, so
Yeah,
it's like Hayao Miyazaki, who is the like author of Ghibli Studio, like founder of, he's a great animator and he has this unique style that he brought and won the hearts of millions of people over the years in the anime
yeah,
industry. And ChatGPT just trained on these videos and these images on that were found on the internet, and now it can like generate the years of effort that Hayao Miyazaki spent on developing this technique and generate these images in like a second or so. Uh, and
definitely.
that brings you to question whether is this should this even be allowed? Like ChatGPT got, I think, around 50 or 200 million new subscribers just from this trend itself, and
Yeah.
none of that benefit goes to the original author. So
No,
this opens up a whole set of like discussions that we can like dive deep into, and it like can go forever for this podcast.
no, definitely. That's such an interesting aspect. Like, this is where, because AI being relatively newer as technology, also doesn't have too many constraints that are being applied, right? Even when it comes to data sharing, uh, like a lot of companies are also concerned about the privacy aspect in addition to the ethics. What are your thoughts on, using data responsibly?
Yeah, though that is a foremost concern we have like at Microsoft, because Microsoft takes like data privacy and security as a very important thing. And as an employee, you feel it when you work there. There's constantly trainings and mails that you get trying to nudge you to make sure we are holding that privacy and security standard. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something I've seen like while working, we constantly have to keep in mind that when we are collecting data from users or using it for creating tools, how we are uh, first of all storing it, and even when we are using it, where does the impact of those tools go? So like
Mm-hmm.
Europe is one country where they have like GDPR laws which are very like strict in terms of what Europe EU data you can use and how it should always remain within those boundaries. So these are things that we have to keep in mind when we are building tools, whether it's AI tools or any other tools, and comply with these things. And I think that is very important. So one is users' privacy perspective. The other is the company's own private like IP information or other stuff, private
Uh-huh.
information. So both of these need to be like kept in a way that it does not get leaked outside. And this is a very interesting challenge when you are building AI. Like if I go a little bit into the technical aspects of it, so
Uh-huh.
you think like this chat GPT, which you can use to search the internet. Now the easy thing about searching the internet is everything is public. So you
Yeah,
just type something and ChatGPT can just openly search the net and whatever it finds give you. But think of it in an on enterprise setting. You search for you are an employee, but you don't have access to like the CEO level documents, right? But you just typed a keyword to search an enterprise document, and the internal LLM, if it doesn't understand what who has access to what and has like indexed everything behind the scenes, it might just give you that confidential document to you and leak it.
definitely.
So it's very tricky and challenging to make a AI retrieval tool that understands every user's like scope of what they can access, what they have authorization to, and respect that privacy while bringing all these AI capabilities upfront.
Definitely. And we've, in the industry, we've had some standards that have been regulating the space, right? We have SOC 2 audits that are really kind of responsible for a lot of, like, ensuring privacy and security and even confidentiality in a lot of spaces. So, how do we kind of, rely on these standards with AI? How do you think that space is going to change?
So most of the AI providers that you have today, like OpenAI or Google, they are providing such enterprise training like tools which respect these guidelines, where if you are trying to fine tune a model to your own data, it is not like going to go to the overall training set of ChatGPT or OpenAI in general. So there are tools that are being made more and more on the enterprise level, keeping these like constraints in mind. Because at the end of the day, I think besides the consumers, a huge chunk of the like customers that this AI services these companies are like having are the on enterprises, the small and medium enterprises as well as the big ones. So you have to design these AI models in a way that are able to follow these guidelines and like encapsulate these like company specific data policies and everything restricted within their control. And I see a lot of progress happening on this front on like OpenAI as well as Google, and that gives me like more confidence that enterprises will be more and more comfortable in including AI in their everyday activities and workflows.
Definitely. And where do you think AI is still untapped, not just in terms of market, but also in terms of engineering workflows, user experiences, or product strategy? Like, where can we, still utilize AI?
I think AI hasn't reached its maximum potential in any field. I feel like
Hmm.
we are still like just touching the tip of the iceberg. Like I can totally see that a single person can start an enterprise in a like couple of years or so, or even like today with a little bit of stretch, a single person has all the tools to write an entire software application, to write a blog post, to reach out to marketing and all of these stuff. There are AI tools that somebody can leverage with the right ideas and mindset to start a like to manage an entire company. But yes, this is still in a very early stage and the quality is still like not at par to make this a sustainable thing. But as more and more improvements are happening in the AI industry, I think that we are getting closer to that point where people will be more like managers of AI employees, and AI will be there will be specialized AIs in every field that you can utilize to get an entire process running. So yeah, like there's no one answer I have, because I feel like whatever field you choose, I can think of areas that we can further utilize AI. So AI has potential to be included in everything that you're using today.
Definitely. And we've kind of talked about this earlier, right? There are tools like Lovable, Replit that are really doing things that people, developers used to do, but doing it at a much faster pace also. So, what are your thoughts on the tools and where they are at right now? Have you experimented with any of these yet?
For software development, there is also Cursor and there was Windsurf, which are some of the more AI friendly advanced dev tools for developers. And there's this common term that is there everywhere now, the vibe coding. So people are generating working prototypes of software just by talking to AI, which is really,
Hmm.
really cool. And things are getting to the point where people are able to productionize some of these as well. So that's a like incredible like achievement I think we have already reached in terms of AI. Like when I just look back at like 2022 November, I think that's when ChatGPT dropped. Like I couldn't imagine like in 2.5 years this is where technology would be like an entire application that is being built just by AI itself, working over minutes. Like this
Yeah,
concept was so unimaginable just 2.5 years ago. And like
definitely.
if I just see this trajectory at the rate we are improving, and usually these rates tend to be exponential. So I think this, like incredibly soon, like in a one in 2027, I can imagine total uh, independent software engineers being able to work and get hired, which are totally AIs. So
Definitely.
yeah, these tools are
So,
getting so out of hand.
and so when we talk about this, there is the fear of AI kind of really replacing these jobs, right? Software engineers are concerned, even designers are concerned because there are tools like Stitch that are literally creating things that would take a lot of time but doing it so much faster. So, what are your thoughts on, like, that aspect?
Yeah, so that is a concern I see a lot of in my industry and elsewhere as well. And it is a fair concern, I think, as a lot of the easy tasks that software developers or designers or be the field that you think of we're doing are like being easily done by AI today. And like the more and more reliability of these AIs are increasing, uh, these these easy, straightforward jobs will definitely get replaced. I don't think there's a doubt I have in that part. But where I think humans are still invaluable is on the creativity aspect. Like, how do you prompt this AI or tell this AI to do and to do what? Like, at the end of the day, AIs are still instruction following robots, kind of. You can think of that. Like, they are really good at doing a lot of stuff and they will keep getting better. But at the end of the day, they'll be following instructions. So, how good are you at giving detailed instructions? And what you are trying to exactly get out of it. These are aspects that humans will have unique always. And the more you get better in your both critical thinking as well as creative thinking, I think you will be higher up in this hierarchy of like AI unable to replace you type of thing. So that's where I think people should try to upskill themselves. Uh, Overall, I don't think jobs will reduce. There'll be newer jobs all the time, new roles that haven't been created. Like prompt engineering wasn't a term 3 years back. It is now a
Uh-huh.
proper role in a lot of like it's a skill that you should have. They expect everybody's expecting. So yeah, there'll be new roles getting created all the time. You need to keep up a little bit as technology is like improving at a ever increasing pace. So that definitely stays a challenge. But overall, I think the number of jobs, the number of opportunities to create value in this world will remain constant. So like I'm not worried at least.
Yeah, definitely. And prompt engineering is, you talked about it, it is so essential yet often misunderstood. Especially like, you kind of having that technical background. Maybe you can help us understand what's the biggest mistake people make when trying to use LLM models like ChatGPT in production systems, and how does prompt design play into that?
Yeah, so I think prompt engineering, even though it's like a fancy term that has been coined recently, is essentially just how well you can list down the instructions to follow. It's mostly that.
Definitely.
And this is a skill that uh, most people don't like realize, because in school we are more trained on following instructions rather than giving instructions. Like our curriculums are based on similar lines, like we are given a question and you just have to answer it. But what if you're given a like elaborate answer and told you what are the different ways someone can question things in this? That's not something we are taught, like how to think critically and how to think in steps, how we achieve certain things. And because our mind is like over through evolution, it has kind of been trained in trying to create short like connections between things, and because of this we tend to forget how we arrived at something. Like how should I put it, like if you think reflex actions that we have gained over through evolution, it is a way to bypass the actual thinking process. So I'll give a very crude example here, but like if you touch a hot surface, your hand moves away, right? That's a reflex action. You don't have to think about it
Yeah,
because it's something that has developed over us over the years. But if you are training an AI or telling an AI how it should behave, you like fundamentally cannot expect AI will know suddenly that if it touches a hot surface, it should move its hand or something like that. So you have to be self-aware about the intricate details of the problem and how the solution is being approached, and able to write that is a very crucial skill. I think prompt engineers or in general, I think people should have to be able to solve problems more effectively. So this is one tip
definitely.
that I always like kind of suggest people when they are trying to write prompts, that think of the solution in as minute steps as you can before going ahead with it.
No, that's a great perspective.
Mhm.
And also, I really like that you kind of shed light on, like, our education system also, and how it needs to be more ready for sort of the changing environment that we're in, because everything is changing, and upskilling really means now being able to learn what is important in the era that you're living in. I do want to talk about, like,
Mhm.
with the forces moving more towards agentic AI lately, a lot of,
Mhm.
specifically in marketing also, a lot of companies are really focusing on that. So when does, having human in the loop become critical, and when can we confidently trust AI to take the wheels, in your opinion?
So I think like confidence in a system builds with like seeing more success from it. Like it's very normal. Like I feel this personally. I've used more chat gpt and it's like highest model of O3, and I naturally trust it way more than any other model that I'm using later. Like if I'm using even if I'm using like Gemini's latest 2.5 pro or something like that, or one of the DeepSeek R1 or any of those, no matter what, my trust in O3 becomes so much more because I've used it so long and I've seen it being very, very successful in a lot of complex tasks, that I rely on it even in like important like sometimes legal scenarios, sometimes like bank financial scenarios. I'm relying on it, and there is like of course I am cross checking it eventually, and I recommend that to everybody not to take AI advice blindly. But this trust kind
Yeah.
of builds with seeing the bot, the AI, the model succeed more and more in complicated tasks, and that comes from
Mhm.
more and more usage, as you can see. So uh, yeah, these agentic AIs will be more and more adopted as we see people build successful things from it, and this success will encourage more and more people to try it, and that's how I think adoption of this will increase more and more.
Definitely. And as systems get more independent, I kind of want to talk here about, like, how should engineers really rethink software architectures? Like, what should they, kind of be changing now?
Yeah, so when I think of the future of software engineering, I think that engineers need to go broader. Earlier, people would be very skilled in, say, one language, and they would be very
Mm-hmm.
confident they can build whatever they need to using that language. But now, I think language is no longer something you need to be very expert in. Tools, AI, everybody can like write. There are like very difficult languages like Rust, which are used for system level design, and AI can write very good Rust today, and that is very 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 impressive. And that like a lot of software engineers I know, including friends who were into like system level jobs, were like uh, learning Rust from my college days, thinking it will be very valuable in the future. And it's still
Yeah.
valuable, but you have someone else write it for you now. So the more and more I think software engineers need to think at a broader level now, more on a design and architectural level, and the details of how to implement things will be more and more delegated to agents and AI models as they are getting better and better over the time. So the entry level software engineering roles today that are entry level, they may not be as valuable tomorrow. Uh, the higher senior level or the architect level roles are going to be valuable. And the reason I think we will always have this one top layer of software engineers is at the end comes down to accountability. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you are a CEO and the software does not work, you cannot blame a bot. You have to
Definitely.
have someone to hold accountable. And that's why I think there will be always one senior role who might be owning a huge like ownership now as people are becoming 100x more productive than before, so 100x more responsibilities than before naturally. But yeah, those 100 people that would have existed under you would be more like agents in the future. So
Definitely.
yeah.
Thank you so much for kind of, sharing that. I do want to move into what we call the lightning round now. So this is just going to be
Mm-hmm.
short, quick, and, really fast responses from your end. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you could describe AI in one word, and it can't be intelligent, what would it be?
One word.
Mm-hmm.
I would say a two-word like a simulated human because I think it's just
Mm-hmm.
simulating us. I don't think it is like actually intelligent. It doesn't. I don't think it is thinking or has consciousness. So it's trying to simulate our behavior. So if I can use a hyphenated word like simulated
Yeah,
human, then that's what I'll go with.
that's a great one. What's one AI capability you think is underused today?
Hmm, that's a good one. What should I? That's a difficult one. I would go with use AI to like generate ideas for how to use AI.
That's a good one.
Because
Kind
I
of
think people
relying
are
on.
bending their mind trying to understand, like think how to use AI. But AI is there for you as well. Like it's just like another person. You can think anything. You can ask a friend or a person.
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
actually ask AI, and you can get some credible stuff from them. So I would definitely suggest that people should use it more and more.
definitely. What's one startup that you think is doing AI the right way right now?
One startup. So I used to think Perplexity was very good at using AI, but recently I feel like as OpenAI, ChatGPT, everybody is kind of using like has their features already. So Perplexity is losing its edge, I feel.
Yeah.
Other than that, uh, like I'm a little bit biased towards software dev, so I definitely think Cursor is a great to like startup that they are building a great product to make software development super easy through just a IDE. So I'm really a
Hmm.
huge fan of Cursor. And also
Yeah.
like Lovable also is doing it really well for people who are not devs. Like you don't even have to be dev to build stuff. So Lovable is there in my list as well. So yeah, that's on the top of my mind.
No, that's a really good one. And a system that you admire for balancing performance and ethics. So this doesn't necessarily have to be a startup. So not a startup, but maybe, another company.
Oh, definitely Microsoft is there among the list. Microsoft puts a lot of emphasis on trying to be like following the ethics, the guidelines, and like it's not just for the show on the outside. Even as an employee, you feel that we constantly have trainings, we have security reviews, and like lots of processes. While I feel that sometimes slows down the whole development process, but it's extremely crucial when you are delivering products to millions of people around the world to make
Mhm.
sure this is followed and the standard is kept. So I admire their like commitment to ethics and privacy while delivering optimum performance.
Definitely. And which tool or shortcut do you use every day but don't necessarily get to talk about?
Hmm. Uh, Shortcut. So like I use ChatGPT a lot, of course, but one thing that I use it for, like that I don't maybe see a lot being talked about, or maybe it is talked, is I do some like self-reflection through the advanced voice mode. So at the end of the day, I'll just turn it on and talk about
Mhm.
various things that happened over the day and ask it for the best insights from that. And I think that really
Oh, wow.
helps me like learn better both my patterns as well as what I could do better. And in general, it creates a log for me also that I keep elsewhere that I later reflect back. So it's a very handy
Mhm.
tool, and I think the voice mode makes this process super quick because before I had to spend a lot of time try to think everything and try to summarize insights from that manually. Now I could just like blabber for 1 minute straight, and the ChatGPT will just give you those insights in a second. So I love this process. Yeah.
No, that's a great one. I love how, you can kind of utilize AI not just for work, but also, learning more and better about yourself and organizing yourself. So that's a really great one. Um, I guess I'm going to ask this next. What's one mistake founders make when trying to be AI first, according to you?
uh, okay, so while I can say something, but I don't exactly have a solution yet in mind. So I think like there's a lot of hype around creating wrappers whenever a new technology comes. This is, I
Yeah.
think, also talked a lot about in a lot of other places. So when ChatGPT came, I remember there were like 100 different tools that came from as simple as something that helps you use ChatGPT through PDFs, which is now a
Hmm.
native thing. But there were
Yeah.
like companies, tens of apps that came out just to be able to parse Excel sheets and PDFs using ChatGPT. And
Hmm.
people went nuts on building such like uh, small wrappers for everything, and then all of those were like swooped up in one go when ChatGPT introduced their Omni model, and you can upload any form of documents or input, and ChatGPT does it. So I think when you are building an AI product, think how your product stands out differently and uh, is less likely to be like a small tool that the big giants can just add on their existing product. So that's where I think the hype is a little too much on these sometimes whenever these new things come. Like recently there was MCP servers that came, like the protocol came, and while it's a good thing, it's like it helps AIs getting more agentic, but the hype
Hmm.
was way more than the need was, and I think like now the hype is dying down. So there's more and more like startups who try to launch something, but now they do not have customers to get it because ChatGPT is just integrating those features in there, or Gemini is integrating them. So try to make sure that whenever you are using AI, your use case is not very generalized, so to the point that these large uh, companies can just put it as a small thing in their arsenal.
Oh, that's a great answer. Thank you so much. This was an exciting round with you and definitely got a chance to learn a lot. I kind of want to, like, as we end this session today, where do you kind of see the future of tech and AI? And what advice would you have for, young engineers that are in the field right now?
That's a lot of responsibility to guide all of the young engineers. So I'll just be able to tell what I am following, because I think I am
Uh-huh.
also very young. I do not think I'm like an old wise man to guide everyone. But the thing that I am trying to follow here is that uh, I spent some time thinking that up to what level can AI automate us. So there are two things where I think AI will always, like, we will not let AI really do it, replace us. Is one is where money is, because ownership of money, it doesn't make sense for AI to own money, and we will not like giving that to AI itself. So that's one side, and the other is accountability. At the end of the day, there has to be accountability for every action and reaction. So investors and CEOs are things that I don't think are going to be replaced. Like, that's like the very, very TLDR. Investors are where the money is coming from, and CEOs of companies are the final layer of responsibilities. So if you are trying to see, go higher and higher in your scope of things that you are building. If you're trying, like, the skill set that you're trying to develop, don't try to have a very narrow skill, because it creates higher risk in getting like substituted with some tool. So the broader you make your skill set, the better you are, and try to get better at managing either people or tools, but whatever. With AI, it's more like managing tools now, if you think of them as tools.
Mhm.
So the ability to work with a diverse set of uh, tools, as I said, is a good thing. Like, so that's something I would want people to be more comfortable doing, and not just picking their most like best skill and being comfort zone of being in that. So you got to move out of that comfort zone. You got to learn end to end of any like business or product. And as I mentioned, like, at the end of the day, the value comes from the revenue. So you have to think of how your like impact or contribution is generating the revenue. You no longer can be just an employee writing code and not be responsible for anything. So that layer is slowly diminishing. So that's what I would like people to keep in mind, and see the young children or students who are now developing their skill set. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Abhishek. And this has been such an incredible conversation. You've shown us that good engineering is invisible when it works, but unforgettable when it makes someone's life better. And I love the fact that, we were able to dive into so many different topics today. If you're an engineer, a product leader, or even just AI curious, I hope this conversation helped you see that, AI isn't just about output, it's also about the impact. And Abhishek, thank you so much for your time and your insights today.
It's been an incredible pleasure, Hershey. Thank you so much for having me. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, the questions, and everything was very smooth, free flowing. So, yeah, loved the experience. I hope our listeners also learned a few things at least. And feel free to reach out to me or Hershey. I think we are all available on LinkedIn. So, yeah. Mm,
Yeah, definitely. I think if this episode gave you something to think about, then definitely share it with your fellow teammates and also let us know your thoughts. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.